day 6, and I am not at the job yet because I had a little hiccup on Saturday. Remember I worked Saturday, right? Remember that? A couple hours? So I go get a pizza and I come out to my truck to, you know, wait for it to get made so I can leave. And I notice my battery light is on. I'm like, that's not good. So I turned it off. And when I went to turn it back on again, I had nothing. So I had to get a jump from somebody. And that was difficult because nobody wants to help you nowadays, which really drives me crazy because I help people everywhere I can. Especially a jump, you know, like I already had cables. Anyway, I already knew that I was in trouble. And fortunately, I was only about 4 or 5 miles from home. So my other truck, this is my work truck, but my other truck was at home, and I'm like, well, let me just go grab that and I can go get my pizza. Halfway home, about 2 miles out, my battery was dying, like literally. And for those of you that don't know, and it doesn't really matter, but some of you may not know, your alternator carries your power. Your battery only kicks in and starts the vehicle, and then it kicks off. And your alternator carries the power for you to drive. Mine wasn't doing that. My battery was carrying the power, and the battery died. And I couldn't get a jump. Fortunately, I was able to glide into a parking lot, and even more fortunately, there was an Advance Auto right across the street. So I went and purchased a battery and lugged it back over across the street, and fortunately I had my tools with me. Yay, because that would suck to look stupid and have no tools. And managed to swap out batteries. So I know that I'm using that battery just to get home, right? I'm not trying to go drive on the freeway or anything like that. And so I got home. And then I was able, an hour later, to go get my pizza. Today, because Monday's not a good day for dentists and mechanics, because everything that goes south with Murphy riding your shoulders will go south on a weekend. And mechanics and dentists are very, very busy on Monday. So today's Tuesday. And so, yeah. So I went in today to my mechanic to, 3 things actually. I've needed brakes for a long time, but as contractors, we put things off and put things off. So they had to change the brakes. They had to put a new alternator in, and the connector on the battery was all screwed up, so they replaced that for me. And Walter, my mechanic, really, really great guy. You know, never overcharges, charges a fair rate for, you know what he told me? For all of that work, 180 bucks. I'm giving him 200. Yeah, I appreciate the help. But yeah, so now I'm getting on to my job finally at 2 o'clock. I was at the mechanic by 9:30. I think it was 9:30. It took that long because, you know, I had to wait in line. But, you know, it's all good. Okay, I made it. And I did some work. I didn't show the work. This is almost becoming like a... I did a vlog series last year? I think it was last year, maybe the year before, where it was like 43 videos, you know, day by day. And this is almost becoming that. But I don't want it to become that because I don't want to show all my work. It would just be boring, as I think the other one sort of was, which is why I took them down. But I do want to talk about some things that happened today, because I've only been here because of my truck and getting it fixed and all that stuff. I've only been here maybe about 2 hours. But in that 2 hours, I went ahead and did some sanding of all the mud that I had put up when I taped and all that stuff. So I did some sanding of that, and then remudded everything so that everything is nice and smooth, especially this wall, because this is gonna be part of the bathroom. That wall, not so much. That's not really important, but I always like it smooth and nice anyway. I don't tape the inside here. Outside of here needs tape, and I go back and forth with people all the time. Oh, you gotta tape everything, it's gonna crack, it's gonna crack. No, it's not gonna crack. Any liquid topical membrane, and including Schluter material, is a crack preventer. It says so on RedGuard, it's a crack preventer. So yeah, you could put tape there. All these seams, you could put tape, but there is no way these walls are gonna have any type of movement that's gonna transfer through your tile with RedGuard or AquaDefense or Hydroban or 8+9 or any of those products. It's just not going to happen. So I'm confident in not having to tape that, but I do tape the outside, which is here, because yes, tape is a crack preventer for everything else. So there's that. Spent a lot of time sanding and then remudding everything to get it, you know, like peachy keen. But a couple of things reared its head. One of them is that this floor and this wall, when I was putting this wall board up the other day, there's a 3/4, it's higher over here than it is over here. This is lower. Well, guess what happened? Floor the same way. So what we have is a discrepancy of this floor that I'm not happy with, because there's going to be a mosaic tile that goes on here. So I've lifted this up to level 3/4 of an inch easily. So that 3/4 of an inch can only be filled really one way, and that's level quick. And putting level quick on here would hinder, it would bump everything up out here, and it's not going to work. It could work. I could make it work. I'm putting a marble transition strip here, by the way, and that transition strip is about the thickness of what the level quick would be, so more or less. So I could bump up that transition strip and have enough for my tile on top of the level quick, and then it could be flush. But my customer didn't want to do that because there's going to be kind of a step up still on the outside when the carpet gets put in. And he doesn't want to trip over it, so we decided we're just going to deal with this the way it is. So this mosaic tile is going to go on the entirety of this floor. There's not really a bump. There sort of kind of is right about here, because it teeter-totters just a little bit. But because it's mosaic tile, it'll just kind of go over that bump. Worst case scenario, there'll be a little separation of some of the pieces of the mosaic all along this line right here. And he knows that, and he's okay with that. I'm going to do the best I can to overcome that. But with mosaic tile, you have to push it down pretty much to the floor and follow the floor. You can't have a buildup of thin set with mosaic. So there's that. That 3/4 and this 3/4 transfer to the curb, which when I realized that the floor was off that much, I put my level on the curb, and the curb is also off that much. Now that's my bad. Clearly that's my bad. What I should have done is that first 2x4, I should have slapped my level on it and realized that I had a 3/4 discrepancy and just shimmed up that first 2x4. But I didn't. So now going forward, rather than remediate this later when I'm ready to set the curb top and all that stuff, I decided to put in some 1/4 inch backer board. I put some thin set on top of the curb, burned it in really well, back buttered the Durarock, and stopped it about there, and then I just tapered out some more thin set, so that now when I put the level on, it's level. Yeah, that was my bad. Should have paid more attention. Sometimes you get on a roll and you're slapping stuff together on day one with all the carpentry and all the flooring work that I did and yada yada yada, and then just little details. That's why I don't like somebody doing my prep, because prep that's done wrong causes you more problems and more work later on, which it did to me today, although I could overcome this relatively easily. But that's about it. I am ready for the waterproofing tomorrow. I'll do some light sanding in here just for kicks and giggles. It's pretty flush and pretty straight already. And we'll do the waterproofing a couple of times, and then the next day I will be setting tile. I'll probably run ledger boards around here and start bringing up the wall tile, doing the math and all that stuff. Oh yeah, that 3/4 discrepancy is going to show with this tile, because this tile is 3 inches. I think it's 3 inches. And if we end up at the top at 2 inches, especially, or 1 inch, that discrepancy is going to show through the tile. So we decided we're going to stop the tile at a certain point, probably about 3 tiles shy of the ceiling, so it doesn't show so much. So better overcome that too. But yeah, I'll slap a ledger board up here and run my wall tile up as high as I can. Probably do the floor tile at that point, and then the cool mosaic that's going to go in the back of there will get done. So moving along slowly but surely. Well, basics. from what it was 6 days ago. Yeah, it's not bad for one guy. But I'm out. Yep, I lied. I felt a little froggy. I felt like I needed to do more before I went home. I'm kind of at a stopping point. I'm probably gonna get a spray bottle and wet that down. That's gonna be a little more difficult. Let's see. Oh, that's not too bad. Kind of putting this off for a long time because you always put things off you don't want to do. And I really didn't want to do this. But it's not too bad. I don't even know if this ceiling needs that 1/4 inch sheetrock that I bought, because we were going to slap that up here. If any painters are out there watching, well, I guess by this time it'll be too late, but I think this is a paintable surface. What do you think? I think it's paintable. This will be my fun tomorrow while I'm waiting for my red gar to dry between coats. I'll do that tomorrow. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.